What if I told you that the very reason you feel stuck in your manifestations isn't because you're doing something wrong, but because you're about to break through to an entirely new level of alignment? What if that frustration, that sense of being blocked, that feeling like nothing is moving in your life, what if it's actually the universe's way of preparing you for something so much bigger than what you've been asking for? Right now, as you're listening to this, there's something happening in your energy field that you haven't been able to name yet. It's subtle, but it's there. You've probably noticed it in the quiet moments, in the space between thoughts, in that feeling that something is shifting even when everything around you looks exactly the same. Here's what most people don't understand about manifestation blocks. They're not blocks at all. They're recalibrations. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why you've been feeling stuck, and more importantly, how to use this exact moment to manifest faster than you ever have before. This isn't about positive thinking or vision boards or any of the surface-level techniques you've probably already tried. This is about understanding the deeper mechanics of how energy actually moves in your life and why sometimes the universe has to slow you down to speed you up. If you've been feeling like you're in some kind of spiritual limbo, like you're waiting for something but you don't know what, like you're being called to something bigger but you can't quite see it yet, then this message found you for a reason. And by the end of this, you're going to understand not just why you've been feeling this way, but how to work with it instead of against it. The first thing you need to understand is that what you're calling being stuck is actually your soul's way of preparing for a quantum leap. Think about it like this. When a rocket launches into space, it doesn't go straight up at full speed from the beginning. There's a moment, right before liftoff, where everything becomes completely still. The engines are running, the fuel is burning, but for just a moment, nothing moves. All that power, all that energy, is building up pressure until there's enough force to break through gravity itself. That's where you are right now. In the pressure moment. In the building phase. And the reason you feel stuck is because you're trying to move at your old speed when your soul is preparing you for an entirely new altitude. Most manifestation teachers won't tell you this because it's not as sexy as promising instant results, but here's the truth. The most powerful manifestations require a complete rewiring of your nervous system. They require your body, your mind, and your energy field to be able to hold a completely different frequency. And that rewiring process feels like being stuck because you're literally being restructured from the inside out. If this resonates with something you've been feeling lately, if you're sensing that this message arrived at exactly the right moment, then I want you to take that as a sign from the universe itself. Hit that subscribe button right now, because what I'm about to share with you is going to change everything about how you understand your own power. The universe might be using this very channel to guide you toward what you've been unconsciously calling in. Now, let me ask you something, and I want you to really feel into this question. When did you first notice that the old ways of manifesting stopped working for you? Was it 6 months ago? A year? Maybe it's been even longer than that. Here's what happened. You outgrew your old manifestation frequency. Just like how a caterpillar can't use the same survival strategies once it's in the cocoon, you can't use the same manifestation techniques once your soul has decided it's ready for transformation. The old frequency was perfect for who you were then, but it's not big enough for who you're becoming. And this is where most people get trapped. They keep trying to force the old methods to work, getting more and more frustrated when the universe doesn't respond the way it used to. They think they're broken. They think they've lost their power. They think they're doing something wrong. But here's the deeper truth. You haven't lost your power. Your power is expanding. And expansion always feels uncomfortable at first. Think about the last time you felt truly aligned, truly in flow with your manifestations. Remember that feeling of everything clicking into place, of opportunities appearing everywhere, of being in the right place at the right time. That wasn't luck. That wasn't coincidence. That was you operating at your natural frequency. But here's what happens when we start growing. Our natural frequency starts to shift. And if we keep trying to manifest from the old frequency, it's like trying to tune into a radio station that's no longer broadcasting on that wavelength. You'll get static, interference, mixed signals, or complete silence. The reason you feel stuck isn't because you're off track. It's because you're between frequencies. You've left the old one behind, but you haven't fully stepped into the new one yet. You're in the transition space, the quantum field between who you were and who you're becoming. And this transition space? It's actually the most powerful place to manifest from, once you understand how to work with it instead of against it. Let me explain something that most manifestation teachers completely miss. There are seasons to your spiritual evolution, just like there are seasons in nature. And just like how winter looks like death but is actually the soil preparing for spring, your current stuck phase is actually your energy field preparing for unprecedented growth. In the mystical traditions, this phase has a name, the dark night of the soul. But that's not quite right for what you're experiencing. What you're in is more like the dawn of the soul. It's that quiet, still moment right before the sun breaks the horizon, when everything is holding its breath in anticipation of the light. And here's the secret that changes everything. This is exactly when your manifestation power is at its peak. Not when you're feeling high and positive and like everything is flowing. But right now, in this space of uncertainty and recalibration, when you feel like nothing is happening. Because nothing is happening in the external world. But everything is happening in the quantum field. The quantum field responds to authenticity, not positivity. It responds to truth, not forcing. It responds to alignment, not effort. And right now, you're more authentic, more truthful, more aligned than you've been in years. You just don't recognize it yet because it doesn't feel like what you thought spiritual alignment was supposed to feel like. You thought alignment was supposed to feel blissful and easy and flowing, but that's beginning alignment. Advanced alignment feels like coming home to yourself so completely that you stop needing external validation of your worth. It feels like trusting your path so deeply that you don't need to see the whole staircase to take the next step. This is why your manifestations have slowed down. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because the universe is preparing to give you something so much bigger than what you've been asking for that it needs you to be energetically prepared to receive it. Think about it this way. If you asked for a cup of water and the universe wanted to give you an ocean, it would first need to expand your capacity to hold water. That expansion process is what you've been experiencing. That sense of emptiness, of waiting, of being in limbo, that's your capacity expanding. And there's something else happening that you might not have noticed yet. Pay attention to your dreams lately. Pay attention to the random thoughts that come through when your mind is quiet. Pay attention to the books that keep showing up, the conversations that keep happening, the themes that keep repeating in your life. Your soul is trying to show you something. It's been leaving breadcrumbs, little hints and clues about what wants to emerge through you. But you've been so focused on why your old manifestations aren't working that you haven't been paying attention to what new possibilities are trying to get your attention. Let me share something with you that might sound counterintuitive. The fastest way to start manifesting again isn't to try harder, or to learn new techniques, or to fix what you think is broken. The fastest way to start manifesting again is to stop trying to manifest your old desires and start listening for what wants to emerge. Because here's what I've discovered in my own journey and in working with thousands of people. When you feel stuck in your manifestations, it's usually because your soul is trying to call in something completely different from what your mind thinks it wants. Your mind thinks it wants the job, the relationship, the money, the house. But your soul is calling in the version of you who naturally attracts all of those things without effort. Your mind is focused on the what, but your soul is focused on the who. And becoming that who requires a complete identity shift. It requires shedding layers of who you thought you were supposed to be and coming home to who you actually are. That shedding process is what feels like being stuck. If you're feeling a sense of recognition right now, if something inside you is saying, yes, this is exactly what I needed to hear, then take that as cosmic confirmation. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because this message finding you today isn't an accident. It's the universe's way of letting you know that you're exactly where you need to be, even if it doesn't feel like it. Now, I want to tell you about the 5 phases of this transformation process, so you can see exactly where you are and what comes next. But more importantly, so you can start working with this process instead of fighting against it. The first phase is what I call the dissonance. This is when you first start noticing that the old ways aren't working anymore. Everything feels harder. Your usual manifestation techniques feel empty. You might even start questioning whether any of this spiritual stuff is real at all. This phase can last anywhere from a few weeks to a few years, depending on how much your soul is asking you to evolve. And it's the most uncomfortable phase because you don't understand what's happening yet. You just know that something feels off. But here's what's actually happening in the dissonance. Your soul is severing energetic contracts with your old identity. Every time you try to manifest from your old patterns and it doesn't work, you're being shown that those patterns don't match your new frequency. Your soul is literally protecting you from creating more of what you've outgrown. The second phase is the dissolution. This is when you start letting go, sometimes gracefully, sometimes not so gracefully. Relationships might end. Job situations might change. Old dreams might start feeling empty. You might find yourself saying no to things that used to excite you. This is your energy field clearing out everything that's not aligned with who you're becoming. And it can feel like loss, like everything you worked for is falling apart. But it's not falling apart. It's making space. Think about when you move houses. Before you can arrange your furniture in your new home, you have to pack up everything from your old home. The packing process isn't the end. It's the preparation for a new beginning. That's what the dissolution phase is, cosmic packing. The third phase is what I call the void. This is where you might be right now. It's the space between the old and the new where nothing seems to be happening. Where you feel disconnected from your old desires, but you can't quite see what's coming next. The void is terrifying for most people because we're conditioned to believe that if we're not actively creating, we're failing. But the void is actually the most creative space in existence. It's pure potential. It's the quantum field before it collapses into form. And here's the secret about the void. This is where your most powerful manifestations are conceived. Not when you're trying to force them into existence, but when you're simply being present in the space of infinite possibility. The fourth phase is the emergence. This is when you start getting glimpses of your new reality. New ideas start coming through. New opportunities start appearing. You start feeling excited about things you never considered before. But here's the tricky part about emergence. It rarely looks like what you thought you wanted. Remember, your soul has been calling in an upgrade. So the things that start emerging are usually bigger, more aligned, more authentic than what your old self was trying to create. This is why so many people miss their breakthrough moments. They're looking for their old desires to manifest, but their soul is delivering something completely different and completely better. The fifth phase is the integration. This is when your new frequency becomes your new normal. When manifesting from this higher level of alignment becomes as natural as breathing. When you look back at your old struggles and realize they were all preparation for this moment. But here's something crucial to understand. You don't have to wait until integration to start manifesting powerfully again. You can start right now, from whatever phase you're in, by working with the process instead of against it. If you're in the dissonance, your job is to stop trying to force the old methods and start paying attention to what's not working. What patterns are you being asked to release? What beliefs are no longer serving you? If you're in the dissolution, your job is to let go gracefully. Stop clinging to what's leaving and start blessing it on its way. Make space for what wants to come. If you're in the void, your job is to be present in the not knowing. To get comfortable with uncertainty. To trust that something is forming even when you can't see it yet. If you're in emergence, your job is to stay open to possibilities that don't match your old vision. To say yes to opportunities that feel aligned even if they're not what you planned. And if you're in integration, your job is to anchor this new frequency and help others who are still in the earlier phases. But regardless of which phase you're in, there's something you can start doing right now to accelerate your movement through this process and start manifesting from your new frequency. It's something I call frequency archaeology. Instead of trying to manifest specific things, you're going to start excavating the feeling signature of what you're truly meant to create. Here's how it works. Think about a time in your life when everything felt aligned, when you felt most like yourself, when you were in flow. Maybe it was years ago. Maybe it was just moments here and there. Don't think about what you were doing or what you had. Think about how you felt. That feeling is your frequency signature. It's the energetic blueprint of your authentic self. And every single manifestation that's truly meant for you carries some version of that same feeling signature. Now, instead of trying to manifest specific things, you're going to start manifesting experiences that carry that feeling signature. You're going to start saying yes to opportunities, relationships, and situations that make you feel more like that version of yourself. This is reverse engineering manifestation. Instead of deciding what you want and trying to feel good about it, you're identifying how you want to feel and letting that feeling guide you toward what you're meant to create. And here's why this is so much more powerful than traditional manifestation techniques. When you manifest from your authentic frequency signature, you're not fighting against your soul's natural direction. You're aligning with it. You're swimming downstream instead of upstream. The universe has been trying to guide you toward this frequency for months, maybe years. Every time something didn't work out the way you planned, it was course correction toward this alignment. Every closed door was redirection toward your authentic path. But there's something even deeper happening here that most people completely miss, and this is where the real magic starts to happen. Every single challenge you've faced in your manifestation journey has been developing specific spiritual muscles that you're going to need for what's coming next. The patience you've developed while waiting. The faith you've cultivated while not seeing results. The trust you've built while not understanding the process. These aren't just nice spiritual qualities. They're actual energetic capacities that determine what level of manifestation you're ready for. Think about it like this. If you wanted to lift a 200-pound weight, you wouldn't just walk into the gym and try to lift it on your first day. You'd start with lighter weights and gradually build up your strength until you could handle the heavier load. Your soul has been taking you through spiritual strength training. Every time you've had to trust without seeing, you've been building your faith muscles. Every time you've had to wait without knowing when, you've been building your patience muscles. Every time you've had to let go of control, you've been building your surrender muscles. And now, all of those muscles are strong enough to handle manifestations that would have overwhelmed your old nervous system. But here's the key. You have to consciously step into using these new capacities. You have to consciously choose to operate from this new level of spiritual strength instead of defaulting back to your old patterns of forcing and controlling. This is what I call conscious co-creation. Instead of trying to make things happen through willpower and effort, you're partnering with the intelligence of the universe. You're bringing your intention and vision and letting the universe handle the how and the when. And the way you signal to the universe that you're ready for this partnership is through what I call aligned action. These aren't the frantic, forced actions you might have taken before. These are the actions that feel like a natural extension of who you're becoming. Let me give you an example. Say you want to manifest a new career. Old paradigm manifestation might have you applying to hundreds of jobs, networking aggressively, trying to force doors open through sheer effort. Aligned action looks different. It might be taking a class that genuinely interests you, having conversations with people who inspire you, saying yes to opportunities that make you feel more alive, even if they don't seem directly related to your career goals. Aligned action trusts that the universe can see connections and possibilities that you can't see yet. It trusts that when you move from authentic inspiration, you're being guided toward opportunities that are perfect matches for who you're becoming. And here's what starts to happen when you operate this way. Synchronicities multiply. The right people show up at the right times. Opportunities appear that are better than anything you could have planned. Resources become available in ways you never could have imagined. This isn't magical thinking. This is quantum mechanics. When you align your actions with your authentic frequency, you start resonating with everything in the universe that matches that frequency. You become magnetic to people, opportunities, and resources that are vibrating at the same level you are. But there's still one more piece to this puzzle, and it's the piece that determines whether you manifest quickly or continue to struggle for years. It's something I call energetic hygiene. Just like you brush your teeth every day to maintain your physical health, you need daily practices to maintain your energetic alignment. Most people think energetic hygiene is about meditation or sage burning or crystals. And while those things can be helpful, the most important aspect of energetic hygiene is something much simpler and much more powerful. It's about consciously choosing which thoughts, emotions, and energy patterns you allow to live in your field. It's about becoming the guardian of your own frequency. Here's what this looks like practically. You start paying attention to how different thoughts, people, activities, and environments affect your energy. You start noticing what makes you feel more aligned and what makes you feel scattered. You start making choices based on energetic compatibility, not just logical reasoning. You stop spending time with people who drain you, even if you've known them forever. You stop consuming content that leaves you feeling anxious or inadequate, even if everyone else is watching it. You stop saying yes to things that feel heavy, even if they seem like good opportunities on paper. And you start prioritizing whatever makes you feel more like your authentic self, even if it seems selfish. Even if it doesn't make sense to other people. Even if it means disappointing people who are used to you being available for their needs. This isn't about becoming rigid or antisocial. It's about becoming conscious. It's about recognizing that your energy is your most valuable resource, and that protecting and nurturing it is the foundation of all powerful manifestation. Because here's the truth. You can't manifest from a frequency you're not consistently maintaining. If you want to attract high-vibe opportunities and relationships, you have to become someone who lives in high-vibe energy most of the time. And maintaining high-vibe energy isn't about being positive all the time. It's about being authentic all the time. It's about feeling your feelings fully and then choosing thoughts and actions that align with your highest good. If something feels aligned in this moment, if you're sensing that this message is exactly what you needed to hear today, then let that inner knowing guide you. Hit that subscribe button now, because this is how the universe confirms when you're on the right path. It sends you exactly the information you need exactly when you need it. Now, there's one more aspect of this process that I need to share with you, because it's probably the most important piece of all. Everything I've been describing, the phases, the frequency archaeology, the aligned action, the energetic hygiene, all of this is leading to one ultimate realization. You are not trying to get something from the universe. You are remembering that you are an expression of the universe. This shift in identity is what changes everything. When you realize that the same intelligence that grows flowers and spins galaxies is the intelligence that flows through you, manifestation stops being about trying to get something you don't have and starts being about expressing something you already are. This is why you've been feeling stuck. Your old identity, the one that believed you were separate from Source, separate from your desires, separate from the abundance that surrounds you, that identity is dissolving. And it's been replaced with the knowing that you are Source expressing itself in human form. From this identity, manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. You don't have to convince the universe to give you what you want. You just have to remember that you are the universe creating through a human experience. And when you fully embody this truth, when you really get it in your bones and not just in your head, something miraculous happens. You stop wanting to manifest specific things and start wanting to express your authentic nature. And when you express your authentic nature, everything you could ever need or want flows to you effortlessly. This is the secret that all the great manifestors throughout history have known. They weren't trying to get something from life. They were expressing something through life. They understood that they weren't separate from the creative force of the universe. They were that creative force embodied in human form. This is what you've been being prepared for. This is why you had to go through the dissolution of your old identity. This is why your old manifestation methods stopped working. Because your soul knew that you were ready for something infinitely more powerful than trying to get things from the universe. You were ready to remember that you are the universe, creating through your unique human experience. And from this identity, from this knowing, from this embodiment of your true nature, manifestation becomes not something you do, but something you are. Right now, as you're taking this in, something inside you is recognizing this truth. Something inside you is remembering what you've always known but maybe forgot along the way. You are not a person trying to manifest things. You are consciousness itself, expressing through the magnificent vehicle of your human experience. This recognition, this remembering, this coming home to your true nature, this is what accelerates manifestation beyond anything you've ever experienced before. Because when you know who you really are, when you embody your true identity as Source expressing itself, you stop trying to create from limitation and start creating from the infinite abundance that you are. Take a moment right now to feel into this truth. Place your hand on your heart and breathe deeply. Feel the life force moving through you. That's not your life force. That's the life force of the entire universe, experiencing itself through your unique perspective. Every heartbeat is the universe saying yes to your existence. Every breath is the universe literally giving you life. You are not separate from this creative intelligence. You are this creative intelligence, embodied in the beautiful, complex, magnificent experience of being human. And from this identity, everything you've ever wanted to create is not only possible, it's inevitable. Because you're not trying to get something from outside yourself anymore. You're expressing something from the infinite abundance that you are. This is why you felt stuck. This is why your old method stopped working. This is why you've been in this recalibration phase. Because your soul knew you were ready to graduate from trying to manifest from limitation to creating from your true identity as limitless consciousness. And now that you know this, now that you've remembered this, everything changes. Your next manifestation isn't going to come from trying harder or learning new techniques. It's going to come from embodying this truth more fully, from living from this identity more consistently, from expressing your authentic nature more courageously. The universe has been waiting for you to remember who you are. And now that you're starting to remember, everything you've ever wanted to create is about to become not just possible, but effortless. So here's my question for you, and I want you to really feel into this. What wants to be expressed through you? Not what do you want to get or achieve or manifest, but what aspect of infinite creativity wants to flow through your unique human experience? Share in the comments below. Tell us what you're feeling called to express, to create, to become. Because your authentic expression isn't just about you. It's about all of us. When you express your authentic nature, you give permission for others to do the same. Your courage to be who you really are creates ripples of awakening that touch everyone around you. Your story, your journey, your remembering of who you truly are, it might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. So don't keep it to yourself. Share it in the comments. Let your light shine. Let your authentic nature express itself. Because this is how the universe works through us. One authentic expression inspiring another, one person remembering their true nature, helping another person remember theirs, one light shining brightly, giving others permission to do the same. You are not stuck. You never were stuck. You were just in the process of remembering the magnificent truth of who you really are. And now that you're remembering, now that you're awakening to your true identity as consciousness itself expressing through your human experience, there are no limits to what you can create. The universe is not outside of you, waiting to give you what you want. The universe is you, expressing itself through your desires, through your dreams, through your authentic nature. And when you fully embody this truth, when you live from this knowing, manifestation becomes not something you do, but something you are. Welcome home to yourself. Welcome home to your power. Welcome home to the truth of who you've always been, even when you forgot. The universe is ready to create through you in ways beyond your wildest imagination. The only question now is, are you ready to let it?